Hey, T-Sippers. Oh, my. Oh, my. I'm so sorry I'm late. I see y'all was up in here, too. I'm sorry. Mm, 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 mm. Hey, Mrs. Tom, 30 minutes. Mrs. Tom. Hey, Samantha. Come in here, Samantha. Or an out. What y'all talking about? Does not account for time zone. Hey. So listen, I'm gonna jump on in. Cause I am already late. Not feeling my best. I don't know what's I do, but I don't know what's going on. I brought hey Joe. I made a little picture thing so you could see. I don't know if it's that inside coming out type stuff, but hold on while we wait for people to come in and see if you can see it. Oh, let me move here. So the one at the top was on the 8th, and the one on the bottom, can you see it? Yay. Row, feel better. Can you see it? Let me do it like this. And hey, Cynthia. But that leg really don't give me problems. It just sometimes feel like the joint is a little stuck. It was this one that was shaped like a grapefruit. And you remember last week I showed the bottom. And not last week, on the 8th. And then I started using that CBD oil. And I got that leg brace thing. So the top I just did about 45 minutes ago. And this is the leg that was really, really, really bad. But I'm still having, I guess I'm still healing. I was trying to wean from the ice and the heat, and I don't think I'm quite there yet. It's fluid, and it's been resorbed. It's fluid. The bottom is the old one. The top is the newest one. But there is still some fluid, and so yeah. So and I'm not feeling that good. So, but I do still dig the progress. A lot of that bruising has went down. Uh, yeah. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. So I'm gonna get back to putting the heat and the ice on it for whatever's going on in the inside. So and then my sinuses. So let's get to it. Ain't nothing but to do it. I'm a come back tomorrow in the morning is my plan for my DOLPH. I woke up this morning with DOLPH on my mind. I was going to go live. So long live DOLPH. Full justice for DOLPH. Plan for, I don't know if I need to do an upload. Yeah, it's still bothering me. But I eased up too on my treatment. I mean, my self-therapy. Um, oh, that turned out pretty good, didn't it? That picture of DOLPH. So I started out planning on getting to it. Not ice. It told me to, I thought I was supposed to, at this point, rotate, alternate ice and Heat. Ice and heat. So you saying just the heat? Yeah, yeah, I was supposed to. My plan was okay, thank you. To come in on Dolph in the case and was gonna dig into that and I'm still feeling that oh boy is still working and tying in Dallas. What Texas. He's still working. But Cornelius went before the judge today. The shooter. He looked like they treating him well up in there. I don't know where he at. This the best I done seen him look. And I'm saying, yeah, that's Cornelius. I mean, it's been what, 4 years? No, 5 years. But look at him. I'm like, everybody do need time to heal. Yeah. Justice for Dolph. Full justice for Dolph. I saw what's his name? Justice for Dolph. He did an upload and I saw Cornelius went to court today, and then they put his sentence. He took a plea deal, but I'm a touch basis on it in the morning. God say the same, but I wanted y'all to see Auntie Fee was supposed to be out here earlier today talking about Dolph. Dolph. I was supposed to come this morning and do a live on Dolph. So please be expecting that. Yeah. I still think Cornelius was being used all of this time. He wasn't just sitting in PC eating well, doing looking. He looked totally different for me. To me, I mean, he just wasn't up in there, you know, not working. He could have been sentenced a long time ago. He could have accepted a plea deal long time ago. So for them to have stalled all this time, he was working. He was still providing information. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. And then they get in there, and today, knee bears the most weight in the body. So y'all, so be expecting for me to touch bases on that. Long live, I'ma say it, the real king of Memphis. In my opinion, he was so good that they had to take him out. I mean, I don't know why Yo Gotti, his brother, his family, all them folk felt the need to come together and solicit hitmen and all of that type of stuff to take him out if he wasn't about it, right? You don't move competition, someone who is better than you, unless they're a threat. So I'm going to leave that right there for tonight. But do expect it tomorrow. Tomorrow. I don't know if y'all went back and watched that upload I did yesterday, and it talked of that man who was Trump's first boy. But that was, oh my God, that was fire. That was fire. Fire. I was blown away. So I'm going to try to dig a little bit more off into that stuff too. A lot of videos and stuff is coming out. A lot of videos are coming out. I don't know if y'all quite understand what I'm talking about, but a lot of stuff is surfacing. A lot. Some of it is extremely, extremely gruesome. extremely gruesome. When I say gruesome, I mean gruesome. These people were sick, but I'm not going to, they were sick. They was a special type of sick. And I just don't think that we, the people, are safe with him still being in office. They had a plan, and if they could have taken us all out, they would have. Let's go on and jump on in. Y'all come on in, hitting the like button.
Mike Johnson, as Republican Speaker of the House, has to defend the indefensible while under Donald Trump's role. But in this breaking story, Team Trump did something so egregious. Not only is he not defending it, but he has condemned it. And I have the details on the offense committed and the offender coming up next. I'm Dan, and welcome to Occupy Democrats. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button to get all of our daily reports documenting the chaos and corruption that Johnson and others in Trump's orbit cannot contain. As background, let's begin with a clip from MS Now that resulted from Pam Bondi being busted for having copies of search history of lawmakers who were given access to the Epstein files. It was spotted in the clueless Attorney General's binder at yesterday's House hearing.
Can we put back on the screen what the Attorney General of the United States brought to the hearing today, specifically about the Congresswoman? Because I think it's
They had a hearing today?
Congresswoman, were you aware that you were being, and not just you, it seems, but if they've tracked you, I would believe it's they tracked other. What the Attorney General of the United States brought to the hearing today, specifically about the Congresswoman, because I think it's important. Congresswoman, were you aware that you were being, and not just you, it seems, but if they've tracked you, I would believe it's they tracked other people.
She can't even get it out.
Are you aware of this, one? And two, have you reached out to the Department of Justice, specifically the Attorney General's office, to follow up and ask, what the hell was that?
Oh, okay.
Well, I absolutely will be doing that. We're in the process of working on a letter right now. All of us.
Can I just say, because there are people watching, they're going to say, they're always sending a letter. A letter is how you register.
That's how we register our dissent. We have a separation of powers, which means that we need to be able to do our legislative duty, and for us to go in to review the Epstein documents and then to know that they have kept the search history of exactly what we searched for. And why was it that she brought that in her binder, which we call her burn book, right? Was she going to use that against me? Did they get that document for every single person? And what were they going to do with it? We need a new process. That's what we're going to demand from the Department of Justice. That's what I'm going to tell Mike Johnson as well when I get to speak to him. I left him a message on the way here. Because we need a process where we know that the Department of Justice is not spying on us as members of Congress.
They cannot be trusted.
I mean, Congresswoman, listening to you say that, I have to imagine that all of your Republican colleagues who were so upset about Operation Arctic Frost and are apoplectic that a past DOJ was looking at their cell phone tower records, they must be standing with you now, right? In this question of whether or not the DOJ is supposed to be looking at things that you search.
Well, they certainly should be, Alicia. And as you know, I have worked with Republicans across the aisle who care a lot about civil liberties, about spying of the Department of Justice and the government on Americans. This is certainly an example of that. And so I hope that every single person, Republican and Democrat, says this is not appropriate. It has to stop. We need a full accounting, first of all. I want to know what search history she collected. Why did she collect that? Why did they keep that? And what were they going to do with it? But then I also want a new process, because I still have documents to review, and I don't want to know that the Department of Justice is spying on me and going to use that against me?
So, what does Mike Johnson think about our lawless top law official? CNN described it this way. House Speaker condemns Trump Justice Department monitoring of lawmakers' Epstein document review. Attorney General Pam Bondi obtained Democratic Representative Pramila Jayapal's search history of the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files, and even President Donald Trump's most powerful ally in Congress has a problem with it. House Speaker Mike Johnson on Thursday said the Justice Department's tracking of lawmakers' search history was inappropriate, a rare rebuke from the Republican who is usually in lockstep with the administration. I think members should obviously have the right to peruse those at their own speed and with their own discretion, and I don't think it's appropriate for anybody to be tracking that, Johnson told CNN. I will echo that to anybody involved in the DOJ. Johnson's comments come after photographs of B0NDI's notes during a Wednesday congressional hearing revealed the Justice Department is tracking which documents lawmakers are reviewing in the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files, prompting some on Capitol Hill to sound the alarm. CNN first reported the apparent surveillance from a photo taken of B0NDI's notes during her testimony, which included Jayapal's search history of the documents, with a list of which files the Congresswoman had searched. Republican firebrand Nancy Mace has also spoken out about the monitoring of lawmakers' searches, writing on social media Wednesday that DOJ is tracking the Epstein documents members of Congress search for, open, and review. I was able to navigate the system today, and I won't disclose how or the nature of how, but confirmed the DOJ is tagging all documents members of Congress search, open, and review, she said. Republican Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky said the most charitable explanation for tracking members' search history was that DOJ wanted to improve their service by helping members find the most frequently sought-after documents. But Massie said that charitable view is undercut by B0NDI, carrying with her a list of Jayapal's search terms at the hearing, where she clearly was prepared with Oppo research and brought flashcards with insults to try to embarrass the members. I think it's kind of creepy that they were hoping to divine some line of attack based on our search histories, Massie said. Those are just highlights. For the full story, visit CNN.com. Search histories are a roadmap into what lawmakers are investigating. By tracking them, Trump's White House can preemptively craft narratives or smear those members with counterattacks they have to defend. It's lawless cheating, and of course a U.S. Attorney General knows that. But a corrupt one doesn't care.
The counterattacks, to be able to respond to them, know what they're looking for, trying to judge how many times they're looking up for Trump. I could see that. Oh, there they go. So the new Brazilian just arrived, sexy, cute 19-year-old. Thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. What? Who's Kira? I found at least 3 very good. And why is she not a co-defendant? Why is she, huh? What are we doing? Oh, I need to look up that name. Hold on. Okay. H1T. Spine. Yeah, but she a recruiter. She a handler. I found at least 3 very good young girls, but we were so tired. I will cover up this week. Meet this one, not the beauty queen, but we both like her a lot. Who is she? She a handler. She gotta be. Victim list. So that's a victims list. Oh, wow. All redacted. I love the oh, man. Child exploitation and human trafficking task force power work. Yeah, so they spying on them while they are doing the research. Why they so? Oh my God, I can't with them. These Pam Bondies and stuff like that. Oh my God, this is horrible. Let me go back because I wasn't paying attention with that other list. I thought was that the
tracking them. Trump's
review, and I don't want to know that the Department of Justice is spying on me and what, going to use that against me?
So, what does Mike Johnson think about our lawless top law official? CNN described it this way. House Speaker condemns Trump Justice Department monitoring of lawmakers' Epstein document review. Attorney General Pam Bondi obtained Democratic Representative Pramila Jayapal's search history of the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files, and even President Donald Trump's most powerful ally in Congress has a problem with it. House Speaker Mike Johnson on Thursday said the Justice Department's tracking of lawmakers' search history was inappropriate, a rare rebuke from the Republican who is usually in lockstep with the administration. I think members should obviously have the right to peruse those at their own speed and with their own discretion, and I don't think it's appropriate for anybody to be tracking that, Johnson told CNN. I will echo that to anybody involved in the DOJ. Johnson's comments come after photographs of Bondi's notes during a Wednesday congressional hearing revealed the Justice Department is tracking which documents lawmakers are reviewing in the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files, prompting some on Capitol Hill to sound the alarm. CNN first reported the apparent surveillance from a photo taken of Bondi's notes during her testimony, which included Jayapal's search history of the documents, with a list of which files the Congresswoman had searched. Republican firebrand Nancy Mace has also spoken out about the monitoring of lawmakers' searches, writing on social media Wednesday that DOJ is tracking the Epstein documents members of Congress search for, open, and review. I was able to navigate the system today, and I won't disclose how or the nature of how, but confirmed the DOJ is tagging all documents members of Congress search, open, and review, she said. Republican Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky said the most charitable explanation for tracking members' search history was that DOJ wanted to improve their service by helping members find the most frequently sought after documents. But Massey said that charitable view is undercut by B0NDI, carrying with her a list of Jayapal's search terms at the hearing, where she clearly was prepared with Oppo research and brought flashcards with insults to try to embarrass the members. I think it's kind of creepy that they were hoping to divine some line of attack based on our search histories, Massey said. Those are just highlights. For the full story, visit
Thank you for the bronze medal.
Search histories are a roadmap into what lawmakers are investigating. By tracking them, Trump's White House can preemptively craft narratives or smear those members with counterattacks they have to defend. It's lawless cheating, and of course a U.S. Attorney General knows that, but a corrupt one doesn't care. When Mike Johnson tells a Trump toady that she has crossed the line, that means she obliterated it. A serious breach of ethics, case closed. Except this is just the beginning of a new scandalous chapter. To mix metaphors, Trump's White House now has a 5-alarm Spygate blaze burning on top of a DEFCON 1 cover-up.
I got all of them in the archives, Jamie. 8,000 Department of Justice lawyers quit today. Let me go here. 8,000.
Cultural tapestry on an adventure crafted just for you.
The reason we have this new evidence is because of public pressure campaign. The reason we have this new evidence is because of public pressure campaign, along with survivors, forced Donald Trump to do that which he had fought all last year, release the Epstein files. And even as debates continue about the propriety and the redactions and AG Bondi's unusual presentation before Congress yesterday, we continue to learn new things. There's video from what appears to be a hidden camera inside an office he had in his Palm Beach residence. And it could shed light on what some witnesses and survivors have said was an effort at blackmail. And that matters not just for telling the story or looking back on this. It matters if these cameras were used, abused, misused for potential crimes that extend out to the ongoing questions which survivors and advocates for survivors and lawyers have expressed. Was there an ongoing conspiracy that has prevented a full accountability up until this day? And these files, these videos, they are changing things around the world, including in other countries. The questions about what the DOJ has failed to do or what some allege might have been pressured not to do. Now, some of the footage is admittedly grainy. There's about 9 minutes of it that shows at least one woman and one man at one point. We, upon this review of the DOJ material, have not been able to identify further what was on the video, who those individuals were, why someone would want to have ongoing office video like this, or the secretive, tiny video cameras that we only learn from the files he had an aide placing in Kleenex boxes. At one point, a woman sits on the desk, a man propping his feet up. You can also see a man in the chair as a woman appears to kneel on the floor next to him. At another point,
she doing what? She doing what? Say that word, say what now?
in the video, who those individuals were, why someone would want to have ongoing office video like this, or the secretive, tiny video cameras that we only learn from the files he had an aide placing in Kleenex boxes. At one point, a woman sits on the desk, a man propping his feet up. You can also see a man in the chair as a woman appears to kneel on the floor next to him. At another point, there's a man that looks towards what we believe to be a hidden camera, meaning it wasn't out for everyone to understand. Britain's Channel 4 confirms the footage is from Epstein's Palm Beach home office.
So how do we know what this is and where it comes from? Epstein's Palm Beach property was raided by law enforcement in 2005, where police filmed this footage. Pause it here. You can see his office in the corner of the ground floor living area. This is the exact same office captured in the spy cam footage. So where is this spy cam in the office? Well, we believe it's here. And in the footage of the 2005 police raid, we can see that there is what looks like a wide clock positioned on a low side table facing the desk.
That's the Channel 4 investigation, including their review and video forensics. Now, if this were just a random person or random government files from an old case, then you say, oh, someone has videos, or someone keeps a diary, or some people keep voluminous notes and other people don't take any notes at all. You might say, who cares, and why is this on the news? But of course, you see where I'm going. We are way past innocuous notes or videos. We are talking about a sprawling conspiracy that went years, that has many unanswered questions, and, according to a lot of experts and victims, as I mentioned, who've spoken out, a scandal that involves other people allegedly a part of this criminal ring who haven't been pursued, who haven't faced full accountability. And the question is whether the videos and the notations and the other materials have been used over time in ways potentially illicit or illegal to answer part of that question. I'm speaking slowly and carefully because we're talking about elements. If you talk to prosecutors, they talk about elements of a crime. You'd have to check off all of the elements and prove them in court to have the crime. And here, the video surveillance is suspicious, but it's only an element. Now, I'll remind you, there are Epstein victims who have said that they believed Epstein had this extensive network of hidden cameras across several homes, according to the New York Times, and that there was concern that he might be trying to deliberately compile, quote, damaging info about rich and powerful men with whom he associated. Translation, the allegation or question is, was he not only a sex trafficker and a kind of a pimp for the adults, a sex trafficker and criminal for the minors, but was he also a blackmailer? There's a member of Donald Trump's cabinet who still says that and hasn't faced any sanction for lying about going to the island, a story we're also following. Now, there's footage that matches the police raid of the Palm Beach home in 2005, where they noted a camera hidden inside a clock in Epstein's office. They found another near his garage. We also have photographs that emerge of the surveillance system, the Times publishing the image of a camera perched near a suite of bathrooms. Other photos revealing an apparent monitoring station, which was labeled, we don't know if it was accurate, but they labeled it 24-hour surveillance. We also have, only from the new files, a little bit of how this worked. Epstein, who had a lot of money, paid a lot of people, telling an aide to set up these hidden cameras, the aide replying by email, I'm installing them into Kleenex boxes now. And then there is the current Trump cabinet. You might think it wouldn't be that hard of all the people available to take these powerful jobs that if one had been caught lying about Epstein, you might say, thank you for your service, we're going to find someone else who's not directly tied to this scandal and lied about it for whatever those reasons are. But that's not President Trump's position. As of tonight, he continues to stand by Howard Lutnick, who clearly lied about this. When the files came out in the last couple weeks, he then was forced to admit under oath he visited the island. And he, for whatever his reasons are, because before we had all these public disclosures about compromat and video and potential materials used for whatever they'd be used for, he was previously talking in public accusing Epstein of running one of the greatest blackmail operations ever.
He forgot. They blowing my mind. I wonder, was there another sighting today?
That's what his MO was, get a massage, And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever. Blackmailed people. That's how he had money.
Blackmailed people to a degree that he would make money, and Epstein had a lot more money than most people. So if Lutnick, who deals with your money as Commerce Secretary, thinks this was a significant amount of money, that is a lead in the case. Yesterday, B0NDI basically dodged and then implied that the DOJ hasn't checked with their own colleague, a fellow cabinet official, about what he was saying about blackmail. And let's remember, I'm showing you what we know in public. Doesn't mean he's credible. He was just caught lying. Maybe he was lying and exaggerating about the blackmail video for whatever his reasons were, but if you care about this, you'd want to get to the bottom of that. There are people who care about this. There are people who've been harmed by this. And then there's the Trump administration acting the way it is. This video is the latest revelation emerging from what has been a voluminous, chock full of information series of evidence in the new Epstein files.
According to the newly released documents, Lutnick arranged and carried out a private lunch with Epstein and his family on Epstein's private island.
There's also a nearly 2-hour-long, largely sympathetic interview filmed around 2019 that Bannon conducted with Epstein.
Do you think you're the devil himself? No, but I do have a good mirror.
Musk is also Epstein files. Emails show that he tried coordinating multiple visits to Jeffrey Epstein's private island.
Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files over 1 million times, according to Congressman Jamie Raskin, who has seen the so-called unredacted version of the files.
Oh, I wish they had a camera in there.
The files
They couldn't bring a camera, but she up in there tracking them.
The lawmakers who got this thing passed are concerned that the gap is so wide there could be ongoing false or illegal redactions. This is law now. Violating the rules on the redactions is violating federal law.
I ain't cutting Trump any slack. Now that we know that they've covered up the co-conspirator documents.
FBI concluded Jeffrey Epstein wasn't running a sex trafficking ring for powerful men file show. So there you go. That's the gaslightiest gaslighting shit I've ever heard in my life.
Well,
what do they think is going on? Just a bunch of fun, bunch of guys hanging out.
There's other stuff in there, like that's already being brought up, that I would say is shocking to the conscience that Trump called it a hoax. Shocking.
Yeah, I was all up in his ass.
It's a whole different world. You have Trump lying to people about what he said he would do in office. Keen, eagle-eyed news viewers will find that is not breaking news. That has happened on many topics. But you can see an almost passionate, kind of revelatory anger about it here, which does show us something different about the podcast space. We're not, for example, with all due respect, seeing that same awareness of the evidence on, say, many of the Fox News evening shows right now. But there's something different in the podcast space where, as they're mentioning, these are the problems in the facts.
Yeah, I mean, podcasters are allowed to say what they really feel, right? I mean, they are alternative media becoming mainstream media. And whatever you think about Joe Rogan, he doesn't like hypocrisy. And what's so clear here is that Kash Patel did not tell us the truth. Now, right now, they're trying to give us 1 million documents because they're trying to take our eyes off of Trump and what happened with Trump and Epstein. And that is very much still an open question and one, I think, worth answering. So there is a degree to which, the play here was like, well, just tell them about all the other powerful guys who were involved in this.
Yeah, tell us.
And we'll confuse the situation. But by redacting some of those guys' names, you then know, well, we can't really trust even that you've given us all the names of the powerful guys. And by the way, what exactly is going on with Trump? Like, what exactly was the nature of that relationship in Palm Beach in the years when, when Epstein was doing his worst as far as we know, right, in this country? So there's still so many open questions, and I understand they're trying to close the book, but this is not the way to do it.
So ain't. And baby, it is just ugly. Ugly. What is he saying before?
Congressman Jamie Raskin. Congressman, thanks for joining me again.
Hey, Brian, good to see you, man.
So there was a moment during the Pam Bondi hearing that really caught everybody's attention. I think this was actually the most viewed after the fact clip during the entire hearing. I'm going to throw that right here on this screen.
The American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million, and Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. Stupid. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader.
Because you sound like you stupid.
The Dow is over $50,000.
They laughing in your face
right now.
So, Congressman, that was Pam Bondi basically crashing out over the fact that people dared ask her questions about Epstein when the Dow is over 50,000, and she actually referred back to you because you were, it seems, rightfully laughing at the fact that Pam Bondi's deflection attempt here was to say that we can't answer any questions about Epstein when the Dow is so high. Can I have your reaction to what it was like when that moment took place?
Well, I warned her before we started in my opening that we were not going to tolerate her changing the subject, filibustering, insulting members, engaging in ad hominem attacks in order to eat up our time. We only get 5 minutes apiece, and we each had about 5 hours of questions from Pam Bondi about all of the corruption and lawlessness engulfing the Department of Justice. So, as you know, as all of America now knows and can see, she didn't answer any of our questions. She dodged pretty much every substantive question there was, certainly from the Democrats and many from the Republicans, including from Thomas Massie. And she would literally just change the subject. So you would ask her about what she's doing to make amends with the Epstein victims whose privacy rights were violated because Pam Bondi published their names, phone numbers, addresses, and private information in the published materials when she was under strict orders to redact all of that. And then she would talk about how great the Dow is. And she's the attorney general. She's not the governor of the Fed. And of course, whatever, they don't have anything to do with the economy. Certainly when jobs are being lost, when the economy's crashing, they pretend they have nothing to do with it, but only when it's going up, they want to take credit for it. So in any event, then I think that she may have gotten her insults mixed up. She arrived with a burn book, I think they call it, with all of the insults compiled for each of the members. And I am not a stock trader. I believe that I have just mutual funds from the days when I was a law professor. So I think she must have confused those with insults she had been preparing for somebody else. But she also did remember to call me, I think, a washed up loser lawyer. I didn't hear that exactly. If I'd heard it, I would have said, no, actually, I'm a washed up loser law professor. But in any event, she was just filled with insults and complete distractions from what we were there to talk about, the massive invasion of people's civil rights and civil liberties taking place in Minneapolis and around the country, and her outrageous betrayal of all of the Epstein victims and her obstinate refusal to do anything to prosecute the multitude of crimes that are so clearly present there.
And that's a part I want to dig into here, because she said while she was testifying that she would pleading basically with any survivors or anybody with information to come to the DOJ, that they would welcome these people with open arms. There were an entire row's worth of survivors seated behind her, and when they were asked point blank if the DOJ had reached out to them or even responded to their overtures to the DOJ, that they had all been ignored. And so how do you square those two things when you say out of one side of your mouth that you want that you're seeking out this information that would help get to the bottom of these crimes, but then when you have people who have that information, you basically close your door to them?
Absolutely.
Right, it's perfectly clear to me now that we are living through one of the greatest, if not the greatest, cover-ups of American history. And it goes all the way back to Alex Acosta, who was later made the Secretary of Labor for Donald Trump. But when he was the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of Florida, there was a 60 federal count indictment ready to go against Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and other co-conspirators for this massive international child sex trafficking ring. And then suddenly it got thrown overboard for one count of state solicitation to prostitution, with the sweetest of sweetheart plea bargains of all time, where Jeffrey Epstein took 1 year, but it wasn't 1 year in jail or in prison. He was free for 12 hours during the day, and he would go and spend the night down at the county facility, and was free to continue frolicking with all of his criminal games during the daytime. And then meantime, there was a non-prosecution agreement made for a lot of other people who were involved in his orbit. That was the beginning of this outrageous double standard of justice that we've seen for Epstein and what a lot of my colleagues are calling the Epstein class of rich and powerful men who seem to be able to get away with everything. And there were Republicans in there and there were Democrats in there. The difference is the Democrats are saying, let the chips fall where they may. All of those crimes should be identified and prosecuted, and anybody who raped an underage girl should be going to prison. Anybody who participated in human trafficking should be going to prison, regardless of political party. You will never hear the Republicans, except for Thomas Massey and one or two others, say that, because for them, Donald Trump is by definition always innocent, or as he said today, 100% exonerated.
Right. Congressman, have you had the opportunity to go look at, I would say, the unredacted files, but from all of the reporting and everything I've heard from your colleagues, they're largely
they don't
not
want that truth
unredacted.
out
But
there.
have you had the opportunity to go through and look?
Yeah, I think because I'm local here, right near D.C. in Maryland, I think I was the first person to get over there, and I spent 4 or 5 hours there.
So, in your time that you've spent looking over these files, did anything strike you? Was there anything that you hadn't known before? Any information that you can share on the existence of co-conspirators?
Well, there are a couple of interesting things that I will share with you, but I do want to start with the big picture here, Brian, which is I want you to think about the various levels of redaction and evasion that are taking place. First of all, there are 6 million
Y'all hit the like button. There's 79, 80 people in here, only 28 likes.
The others
Please hit the like button. Like, share, subscribe, join the membership.
Get over there, and I spent 4 or 5 hours there.
So, in your time that you've spent looking over these files, did anything strike you? Was there anything that you hadn't known before? Any information that you can share on the existence of co-conspirators?
Well, there are a couple of interesting things that I will share with you, but I do want to start with the big picture here, Brian, which is I want you to think about the various levels of redaction and evasion that are taking place. First of all, there are 6 million documents, and Pam Bondi said, we're just going to show you 3 million. 3 million of the others are duplicative. Well, if they're duplicative, just release them. But in any event, we know they're not duplicative because a number of the victims said they were looking for the memos, the prosecutorial memos of their original victim statements, and they're not in there. So those have been withheld, along with a number of other government documents, including the original trial memorandum that had been written by the Department of Justice. They've suppressed that. So they're hiding a lot of stuff.
Thanks for asking.
So
How are
that's the
you?
first level. Actually, let me start again. The first level is really everything that's been destroyed. Anything that's been destroyed or just disappears is the first level. Then we've got the stuff that still exists, but they don't want us to see. And so that's part of the 3 million documents they're not showing us. Then we get to the 3 million documents that they've shown us, but 200,000 pages of those have been partially or completely redacted, entire pages that are just blacked out, deleted out. Okay. And remember, there was one instruction, which is delete or redact only the names of the survivors. They failed to do that. They released names, addresses, phone numbers, and identifying information from more than 100 of the survivors. But meantime, they redacted the names and identifying information of lots of criminals, potential co-conspirators, enablers, accomplices, and so on. So there are tons of redactions in here. And
did you get that all? A slide? Nobody helped me try to reach that goal. I showed them pictures of my progress before y'all got in. So while they hitting the like button, I'll show y'all. On here, you see the bullseye? You remember I made mention of the oil, the CBD. Y'all hit the like button. Can you see that? So that was the left leg that really wasn't hurt that bad. It just had that. I don't know why y'all can't see my finger. It just kind of had that that knot right here. It was longer here on the 8th, and now it's just kind of right here. And then this was the big old bruise in the veins and stuff that was like, because y'all remember I was saying that it's the swelling went down, but the bruise is coming from the inside out. So that was on the 8th, and then this, there go the veins. And so the bruising is going away. So the oil and stuff is hurt, and then I got that brace. But the pain that I guess that's on the inside is still a little stiff. So I need to put that heat back on it. Yeah, the CBD oil. Okay, y'all hit the like. Okay, let's get back. So I'm doing better. I am. I thank God for the healing. It's just that when that swelling went down, and that was just like part of the healing. I'm thinking I'm really downhill. I mean, you know, you get up and you be on it more. You're not applying as much ointment and stuff on it, and well, it's not an ointment. But I'm gonna get better. Let me get back to this. Yeah, please hit the like button. Because y'all gonna have to hear some stuff.
They set this up like some kind of video game. This is not a game. We passed a law compelling them to release all of the information. But
Sly, you missed it yesterday.
Down, they are determined to keep us from seeing all of the material.
Now, the second part of that question, was there anything striking that you found that you hadn't known before?
So I punched in the name Trump or Donald or Don, which came up with more than 1 million. I don't know if every Donald or Don that was flagged was necessarily Donald or Don Trump, but there is a lot of Donald Trump through these files, okay? The first file that appeared for me was an email that Donald Trump was, and remember, this one was redacted, so I got the unredacted version, okay? This email was from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. And he's forwarding an email from Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers to Jeffrey Epstein. The lawyers said that there was going to be a deposition of Donald Trump that got switched over to a 20-minute interview. This is back in 2019. They gave a synopsis record of what was discussed there. And the paragraph said something effectively to this point, which is Trump saying that Epstein was not a member of Mar-a-Lago, but he was a guest at Mar-a-Lago, and no, he was never sent away. And so
he was never sent away.
Pleased by this, whether or not it was
Did
true,
you get the Uncle Bud?
He was sent away.
Did you get
Trump decided to lie about it then, or he wasn't sent away, and he told the truth about it. Who knows? But we do know that whichever is the case, it is the opposite of what Donald Trump is saying now, because he is claiming that he did in fact send Epstein away and somehow exiled him and expelled him from Mar-a-Lago and his estate. And that is at odds with what was recorded, at least in this memo. So there's a lot of rich stuff in there, but I think that we're certainly not going to find any direct evidence of crimes by Donald Trump, because I'm sure that's the first thing that team of 1,000 FBI agents were looking for when they went to scrub everything clear of Donald Trump's
Department of Justice lawyers quit today.
Enough evidence now of the existence of these co-conspirators. For example, I spoke with Congressman Ro Khanna, and he had searched first and foremost for that email.
Did you get the Uncle Buds?
From the child sex trafficking unit years and years back, about the existence of 10 co-conspirators. So there are co-conspirators that are alluded to in the Epstein files. I also spoke with Congressman Robert Garcia yesterday, and he spoke about the fact that there were also recruiters in the Epstein files that are now coming to the surface. So if there are the existence of these co-conspirators, and more information is obviously going to come out, how does Kash Patel and Todd Blanche get off saying that there's nobody else, that Jeffrey Epstein just trafficked more than 1,000 girls to nobody, when we know
we will not stop with the Epstein until there is justice, period.
Right, they're basically
until
saying
Donald
there were
Trump
two
and
people
all
who
of his
committed
partners,
crimes, Ghislaine Maxwell,
other
and
lawmen,
Jeffrey Epstein. And they
all
ran
of
a
them.
$1 billion global child sex trafficking ring.
We are
with
not
no
going to stop.
customers, no accomplices,
They got away
no
with it for too
co-conspirators,
long.
and so on. I mean, it's absurd. It's ridiculous. But obviously, everybody
shame on you for saying
the government team has signed up for the Trump orthodoxy to try to make the whole thing go away. And what exactly is he afraid of? Well, there are different theories out there, but there's no hard proof yet. But it will come to light exactly what it is that Donald Trump is trying to sabotage with all of these moves to complicate and undermine an investigation.
Congressman, you were a constitutional law professor prior to becoming a member of Congress, and so you'd be able to speak to this little bit of history better than I think anybody would. But as it relates to the Watergate cover-up,
that's way more than 10.
How could that situation be analogous to what we're seeing right now in the aftermath of the Trump administration?
Well, I mean, the Watergate looks like a Cub Scout prank compared to what we're living through right now.
For sure.
We're seeing the most thoroughgoing, systematic attack on the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the separation of powers, individual liberty and freedom that we've seen in the country essentially since the days of Civil War and slavery, where part of the country was literally at war with freedom another part of the country, but that's kind of where we are now. Where if you're on Trump's team,
Lord, we don't want to talk about what's in the Epstein files, where it talked about Epstein was hunting black people at night, a part of the hunting game. Yeah, hunting blacks at night.
Enrichment, but if you're considered an opponent, they will try to use the full force of the federal government against you.
But in terms of the consequences for the people involved, like the Attorney General, for example, during the Nixon era, how can that situation inform where we are right now? Because I think a lot of people are seeing all of this stuff play out and seeing criminal activity take place. And that would be bad enough unto itself, that there's no accountability for the people who committed these crimes. But there's another layer of criminality in that people at the top of the DOJ, are participating in a cover-up. And by the way, defying the law while they're doing so. I mean, the Epstein Files Transparency Act mandated that all these files be released over a month ago, almost 2 months ago at this point, December 18th,
Yeah.
and here we are. And so, on so many different levels, we're seeing laws being broken, but how could the situation during Watergate be instructive for what we're seeing right now?
Well, Richard Nixon's attorney general did go to jail for covering up and entering as a complicit partner in criminality. The difference today, of course, is that Trump has completely corrupted and contaminated the entire Department of Justice and also the judiciary, so that he's got a get-out-of-jail-free card with Trump versus United States, the Roberts Court's decision on presidential immunity that Richard Nixon could only have dreamed of. I mean, that would have been in his wildest dreams that he would have something like that. So there certainly is some historical precedent for the Attorney General being held to account. And one can only hope that it would happen here. But Donald Trump has proven he's willing to absolutely go to the mats like a mob boss and issue pardons to everybody, and to use the protection of the Roberts Court as much as possible. On the other hand, he's massively unpopular. He's sinking in the polls. Democrats are winning all over the country, and there is a renewed pressure to vindicate our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. And that's the struggle that we're in. We're in the fight of our lives right now.
Last question here. You actually made an unannounced visit to an ICE facility in Baltimore, so we're switching topics a little bit. Can you tell me about that unannounced visit? Because everything I've heard thus far from members of Congress is that any unannounced visits have been rebuffed by these ICE agents, and that members of Congress have been denied entry illegally, of course, but that's not stopped this administration and the DHS from doing that anyway. Can you talk about your visit?
Well, 13 members of the House brought a lawsuit. Joe Neguse was first, so it's Neguse versus ICE, to vindicate our rights to show up unannounced at an ICE facility to conduct oversight. And that is a right that is written into federal law. So we went to court to guarantee that right would be enforced, and we won. So I took a copy of Neguse versus ICE with me to Baltimore. The staff people were actually very decent and very forthcoming, but what I saw there was scandalous. This is an office building where one floor has been converted into holding cells, and I saw in one room that I would not try to fit more than 20 people in for a lunch. I saw 60 men packed together, shoulder to shoulder. They're there 24/7. It's not even like a prison where you get an hour to walk around. So you're in there as long as you're in there.
Hi, Sarah.
It seems like the average length is 3 days, but some people are in there 6 days or 7 days. There's one toilet and there is no shower, and they sleep like sardines on with aluminum foil blankets on the floor. And Pam Bondi has tens of billions of dollars in surplus money that they're engaged in all kinds of inside deals with all of the Trump people. In meantime, we're holding human beings like cattle pressed together, like sardines, just thrown together up against each other under really unhealthy and unsanitary conditions that are liable to make a lot of people sick. I don't know if I was the first member allowed to go that far because I was brandishing our court decision. I may have been. I wasn't allowed to speak to the men, but I was able to, press up against the windows and the walls of where they were being held, and they were gesturing to me that there was no shower, there was no water that they could get. They were pointing to the one toilet, the one open toilet over in the corner, and we're talking about dozens and dozens of men in there.
Yeah.
There was a women's cell where there were about 33 women, so that seemed to be slightly more civilized, but I was amazed when the staff people told me that room that I saw with 60 people could accommodate more than 50 others.
to that end, we are right now in a moment where DHS funding is going to run out if Republicans don't agree to some conditions being proposed by Democrats. Can you talk about where that process is right now? Because we are like on the brink of DHS running out of their funding. But what would that actually mean in practice? Because ICE, thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill, does have funding for years, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, and since I spent the afternoon up at the ICE facility, I've not caught up with whatever the most recent news is. But people are prepared for the possibility of an ICE shutdown. As you're saying, they're swimming in cash. I mean, there's no place in the federal government better funded than them, with the possible exception of the Department of Defense, the Pentagon. But they have tons of money, and who knows what they decide to do in terms of what they keep open and what they don't. And
in that case, they sacrifice TSA agents and make it as inconvenient for American travelers as possible, so that they can say the Democrats caused this big ICE shutdown. Meanwhile, the people who are actually abusing their offices, abusing their positions of power, which are these ICE agents, they'll continue their operations completely, unabated, and meanwhile Republicans get to run a PR campaign against the left.
Well, you got it. And I've spoken to some Republicans about this, and I've said it's time for a reset. You guys have got to deal with the reality of the situation. And I think their way of dealing with it is to say, well, we'll withdraw from Minneapolis. And some of them are asserting that, well, maybe Secretary Noem will leave and she'll be replaced with Homan instead. Well, of course, that's unsatisfactory to us. We want to see systemic structural changes, starting with masks off and cameras on, so we can find out what's going on. So there's identifying information about ICE agents, so they're not the only police or law enforcement force in the country that's walking around masked like a paramilitary force in an authoritarian dictatorship. And we've got to end that. But there are a whole lot of other things that we need to make sure are happening too, and that's what our friends in the Senate are fighting for.
Right, and I would add qualified immunity too, because we have seen that, look, there's no shortage of video footage showing what these ICE agents are doing, and in fact, we know the identities of the ICE agents. That's not stopping anybody from doing what they're doing.
Right.
What will stop them is some real deterrent, some real deterrence and criminal consequences. But right now, they're basically largely blocked from that because of qualified immunity. So I hope that among the conditions that are being imposed, that qualified immunity is right there alongside taking off masks and mandating the use of those body-worn cameras.
Absolutely. Federal agents of all kinds, including ICE, have to be liable and responsible for their actions, just like state and local police officers. And we've got to make sure that they are criminally liable where they engage in criminal action, and also civilly liable to tort suits, so that the government pays for actions that they're instructed to undertake that end up injuring citizens. And so there has to be relief for the families of all these people being wounded, injured, and killed, like the Preddy family, like the Renee Good family, and so on.
We'll leave it there. Congressman Raskin, as always.
Thank you. So listen, I'm running out of time. So let's watch this one, because that's that Tate guy. Oh, where's the volume? Hold on. Y'all remember the Tate, them Tate brothers. Oh, the Andrew brothers. No. I'm sorry. The Andrew brothers
to support those
appeared in the Epstein files so far. However, the Tate brothers is the ones that Trump, that was in Romania, right? And Trump, is this the same one? That were locked up in Romania for doing some of the same stuff, and Trump made the call to get them released.
An IQ of 85 to 115 is considered average in the U.S.
And he's saying something. Let's hear him.
Allegations.
And remember Bannon, what's his name? Barron wanted to be friends with them.
Fresh conspiracy chatter is exploding online again, with viral posts claiming Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. Fresh conspiracy chatter is exploding online again, with viral posts claiming Jeffrey...
Y'all remember I showed y'all him with Barron.
Fresh conspiracy chatter is exploding online again, with viral posts claiming Jeffrey Epstein is still alive, despite no verified evidence to support those allegations. Across social media, users are circulating old photos, edited clips, and unverified sightings, including claims that the convicted sex offender was spotted living in Israel, and even a video said to show him in Lebanon in 2023. None of these claims have been confirmed by authorities or credible investigations, but that hasn't stopped the internet from digging for so-called proof. And the speculation took another turn when a Fortnite tracker gaming account, which some users tried to link to Epstein without evidence, started trending. Screenshots of a viral tweet claiming Epstein is alive gained traction after a reply attributed to controversial influencer Andrew Tate surfaced online, reading, "It's not maybe, it's been confirmed to me." The comment reignited long-running body swap rumors that frequently resurface around the Epstein case, even though officials have repeatedly stated he died in custody in 2019. Tate's alleged involvement has added more fuel to the fire, but it's not the first time his remarks have stirred controversy. In an earlier appearance on Jack Neal's podcast, Tate claimed he knew who killed commentator Charlie Kirk, saying, "I know who killed him," before adding that he was scanning what's going to keep me alive and refusing to reveal details. He also alleged that American commentator Candace Owens was one of the few public figures discussing Kirk's death, claiming her views were being ignored by those in power, statements that remain unverified.
Tea is good. Please hit the like button. I know y'all know I was coming with it.
Andrew Tate is once again
and again, holla. Now remember, I need for y'all to remember.
Once again at the center of controversy. This time from...
Did I back it up? Who got him free, him and his brother free from a Romanian prison? Can anybody tell me, if y'all remember, hit the like button, who helped him and his brother get out of prison while they were being held? They had not been to trial or anything or convicted, but Barron took a liking to him. Barron Trump took a liking to him because Barron needed help with the ladies. You know, he a little shy. You know, he a little shy. Him, and needed some help, and reached out to Andrew and was communicating with him, and I guess got, his daddy to help him, whatever. He's in real estate, also broker, just like the other two brothers. And then once he got out and was chummy, then he hooked up with Eric Trump. So Eric took a little Barron's friend from him. Yeah.
Making an explosive claim about the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. In a new interview, Tate told podcast host Jack Neal that he believes he knows who killed Charlie Kirk, but says he cannot reveal the details publicly. The conversation took a dark turn when Tate was asked whether he believed Kirk's killing was connected to feminism. Tate visibly paused before answering, a moment he later described as him scanning to select his words carefully so as to, quote, keep himself alive.
Yeah, he did say that.
Then he made the claim that immediately set off alarm bells. Quote, I know who killed him. Tate then added that, according to him, the only person openly offering public theories about Kirk's death is conservative commentator Candace Owens. That assertion forms the backbone of everything that follows. Andrew Tate went on to explain why, in his view, Candace Owens has been allowed to continue speaking publicly about Charlie Kirk's death despite pushing controversial theories. According to Tate, it has nothing to do with free speech and everything to do with perception and identity. He said, quote, "She's still breathing because she is a woman and because she is black." Tate claimed that those in power have made a calculated decision to let Owens speak, not because they agree with her, but because they believe she can be dismissed. He alleged that decision makers labeled her as a hysterical black woman, assuming that most people won't take her seriously, even if what she's saying is accurate. Tate argued that this stereotype allows authorities to let her talk without consequence, while quietly discrediting her narrative in the background. According to Tate, if a man in a sharp suit said the exact same things, he would be taken seriously and silenced. Tate then laid out what he described as a familiar strategy used to neutralize voices like Candace Owens. He claimed that bots would be deployed on social media, paid influencers would be activated, and a coordinated effort would begin to brand her as unstable. Tate said, "They'll get everyone to call her crazy, even if she's right on the money." Tate insisted that accuracy wouldn't matter because the narrative would already be set. Tate acknowledged that misogyny still plays a role in who's believed and who's dismissed. As per him, if you're a man in a sharp suit, you're taken more seriously. In the final part of the interview, Andrew Tate explained why he believes tone is everything. He said that if sensitive information is shared in the wrong way, with emotion, defiance, or confrontation, it becomes easy to label the speaker as unstable. But if the same information is delivered calmly, professionally, and without emotional ammunition, the
so them
response
same
changes.
like type men that's walking
He also
behind.
hinted that this is why he cannot reveal what he claims to know, citing potential consequences for speaking openly. Meanwhile, Candace Owens has reportedly been served a cease and desist letter from Turning Point USA amid her continued commentary on Charlie Kirk's death. Andrew Tate's claims remain unverified, but his words have added yet another volatile layer to an already explosive conversation.
Okay, let's go. Let's see what Candace is talking about today. I think she has a special guest. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. So take off
If you're
all
serious
your
about landing a legit remote job right now, stop.
So, you know, there was times when Erika Kirk would walk on that stage when she had the, "Oh, say can you see," you know, all the lights and fireworks and the gold parliament suit on and stuff, you know. She just had she her walk is not feminine. She it's not classy nor is it feminine. So I remember saying
Okay, you guys, I'm sorry that I'm running late today.
She walking out like a dude. I remember thinking that she walking out there like a dude, like she got some kicks on, you know, no heels. And so let's just hear what she got to say today. If there was a love affair, did Charlie catch her with a woman or a man, or is she just out there like that, just spreading eagle, you know? Let's hear this. Let's go.
So much that I wanted to cover our last show before we go off air next week, preparing for our limited Erika Kirk series. Now, we had received a large influx of emails because Baron Coleman had a bit of a viral episode regarding a seemingly weird relationship that Erika had with a then 15-year-old girl named Jillian. Erika was 25 years old at the time, and they developed a relationship that some people believe amounted to a type of grooming. Now, Baron Coleman was very clear. He gave specific instructions to his viewers not to reach out to Jillian, who is now an adult, about the situation. And I, for some reason, was unable to follow these simple instructions. I reached out to her immediately. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I had a great chat with her about her dynamic with Erika. So welcome back to Candace.
She don't know. She don't know what's wrong. I just could not follow simple ass instructions.
Okay, shout out to Nimi Skincare for sponsoring today's episode. It's the only skincare brand that I've actually stayed consistent with and what my routine is built around, which Erica had over, and then of course Baron Coleman. Yeah, thanks to first and foremost a YouTuber by the name of Nicey. So full credit to Nicey, and then of course Baron Coleman picked it up. I love it. We're all just pooling information, and here we are.
Y'all hit the like button so I won't have to keep stopping.
That Erica had over, it looks like social media. A lot of it played out over social media, and I'm just going to actually cut to Nicey here, who's going to unpack it for you and to give you a little bit of background. It's 2013. And therefore, Erica has just completed her year as Miss Arizona, and she's 25 years old at the time, Erica is. And now you're going to learn how she met Jillian. Take a listen.
Back in 2013, Erica was 25 years old, and she was in a relationship with a basketball player named Joshua Harrelson. So at the time, he was living in Michigan, and Erica moved out there to be with him. On the evening of September 15, 2013, Joshua Harrelson and Erica met a 15-year-old girl named Jillian Falcon. And I know this because Jillian tweeted about it. At 3:53 p.m., Jillian tweeted that she was out for sushi with her friend, and 2 hours later, she tweeted
old at the time, Erica is. And now you're going to learn how she met Jillian. Take a listen.
Back in 2013, Erica was 25 years old, and she was in a relationship with a basketball player named Joshua Harrelson. So at the time, he was living in Michigan, and Erica moved out there to be with him. On the evening of September 15, 2013, Joshua Harrelson and Erica met a 15-year-old girl named Jillian Falcon. And I know this because Jillian tweeted about it. At 3:53 p.m., Jillian tweeted that she was out for sushi with her friend, and 2 hours later she tweeted, "Just met Miss Arizona and Josh Harrelson, heart eyes emoji." Now, I'm not sure if Jillian coincidentally bumped into Erica and Joshua or if they were introduced. What I do know is that Jillian had a friend, and the friend's grandparents were renting a home to Erica in Michigan. So I'm not entirely sure if all of these people just bumped into each other coincidentally at the sushi restaurant or if they were formally introduced. But nonetheless, they met, and Erica struck up what I view as a very odd relationship with the 15-year-old girl named Jillian.
So I can help clarify. I can build on that. Like I said, I spoke with Jillian, and that information, part of that information is very accurate. It was about payment for rent, and that is how Jillian meets Erika Kirk. She opens the door. She's presumably living with or visiting her boyfriend at the time, and she sees Erika Kirk, and she thinks, oh my gosh, this girl, 25-year-old girl, is so beautiful, and Erica is extremely kind to her, and they start speaking, and somehow, and Jillian does not recall how this transpired, somehow during this rent arrangement, Erica and her exchange numbers, okay? So what happens next is they begin messaging each other, a texting relationship, and across social media, making comments on one another's posts. And in the beginning, it seems fine enough, I guess. The conversation is polite, maybe something that you might expect to see between someone who has some level of notoriety or fame and one of their fans over social media. But then it picks up, just as Nicey indicates. It picks up, and I am going to allow you to listen to her explain what then transpires. And I would also, again, like to reinforce the fact that this girl, Jillian, is 15 years old and Erica is 25. It's worth mentioning that. At this point in her biography, Erica is also working with sex trafficking charities. This is that year where she says that she got involved with a sex trafficking charity over in China. I'll have more for you on that next week, but take it away, Nicey.
Moisturizers are good for your
skin, get the lights up.
Nope. What's the biggest mistake women make when it comes to getting rid of wrinkles with skincare?
On February 13th, 2014, Jillian replied to one of Erica's tweets by saying, At Erika Fransby, gorgeous as always. A few hours later, she then tweeted, why did at Erika Fransby just send me this? Laughing emojis. And there is a photo which says, this Valentine's Day, I am going to touch your butt. Jillian posted this tweet on March 6, 2014. So Erika says, let me call you. Hold on, sweetheart. Give me a sex. Wow. And then Jillian says, okay, and puts laughing emojis. Erika then says, sec. Sex too, but not from you, lol. Holy laughing emoji. You always make me laugh. I don't bat for the other team just yet. On March 13th, 2014, Jillian shared another screenshot of her text messages with Erika. Erika says, I forgot to tell you, hydrate tonight. No alcohol, and don't eat a lot of salty foods. You don't want to look bloated. Jillian then responds, thank you. Erika says, no alcohol. Really, Erika? Age recognition, you twat waffle. Apparently, I haven't had my coffee yet. What the hell, Erika? Laughing emoji. Well, on that bite, ... note, damn you, Siri. Come on, hashtag the struggle. What are you trying to say, laughing emoji? Spit it out, you twat waffle. On the morning of March 26, 2014, Jillian tweeted, I just want to be somebody's woman crush Wednesday. Is that too much to ask? That evening, she then tweets, thank you at Erika Fransby for making my whole week, and she shares this photo. And the photo is of a gnome, and it says, I want to be inside your lady garden. Gnome saying, on April 3rd, 2014, Jillian tweeted this picture and said, I miss this goon. A few minutes later, she tweeted, did Erika just text me hashtag no new friends? Oh my fucking god, I can't. A few days later, on April 5th, 2014, Jillian posted this tweet, getting this in the mail from Erika Fransby. And in the photo is a red box of chocolate-covered strawberries and other chocolate desserts. And the card in the photo says this, happy sweet 16, beautiful girl. Keep strong in faith and know that you're loved. But most of all, never forget that you are perfect and amazing just the way you are. I am so proud of you. Today is the first day of another 365-day journey around the sun. Enjoy the trip, boo. Love you, E. On June 7, 2014, Jillian shared this tweet. This has to be the most heartfelt compliment I've ever gotten. And she attached a screenshot of her conversation with Erika. So Jillian says, thank you. Erika says, you have the most stunning features. Jillian says, best compliment ever. Erika says, your eyes, your lips, your skin, you're absolutely beautiful. Jillian responds with the crying emoji. Erika says, you have the most stunning features. Jillian says, best compliment ever. Erika says, your eyes, your lips, your skin, you're absolutely beautiful. Jillian responds with the crying emoji. You're making me cry. In February of 2014, Jillian went on a family trip to Puerto Rico, and Erika was liking and commenting on her Instagram posts. So Jillian posted this photo of the beach, and Erika says, unreal gorgeous. And then Jillian responds, this is by far my favorite picture I took. My mom wants to get it blown up at Erika Fransby. Erika responds, I could see why, boo. Jillian responds, so perfect at Erika Fransby. Erika then responds, ... yes, I know you are.
I'm just going to follow that with a little bit of silence. I just want us to all contemplate it. Let's actually contemplate it for the people who are going to try to explain it, the Erika splainers, who are going to be like, that's not weird. No. What? Never been a 25-year-old sending chocolate-covered strawberries to a 15-year-old? That's not weird. You guys are haters. No, what? Oh, come on. You've never, as a 25-year-old, decided to message a 15-year-old about their lips and their skin and how perfect they are. You never decided to message them when they posted a photo of them with a person that's their age and said, no new friends. Almost like territorial, like or that's obviously all just a joke or something like that. By the way, just in general, going back to how they met, I'm trying to rationalize in my head, under what scenario, if a 15-year-old, if you opened the door and a 15-year-old was there, would you exchange numbers with them? Like, I'm trying to rationalize it. Maybe if they were with their parent and they were like, the parents were like, he was looking for a job, like, I don't know if you need like a babysitter. You guys want to go to dinner for a couple of hours, sort of a thing, maybe. But I'd probably take the parents' number. Yeah, I would definitely take the parents' number. I actually can't rationalize that.
Yeah, get the likes up. Ricardo, you may have missed it while they're waiting to get the likes up. However, tomorrow, I made mention of it earlier, I will be on ADOLPH. Long live ADOLPH. And absolute full justice for him. That's for you, Ricardo. I know you weren't here earlier, so I just wanted you to know. Let's get back over here. Y'all hit the like button. Let's go.
So I'm throwing that out because sometimes people in the chat can be more creative than me, and they can say, oh no, it's totally normal to exchange
That's
numbers
not
with 15-year-olds
normal.
and then kind of have this relationship with
Absolutely, pre-baby.
Where you're commenting and saying, making lesbian jokes. I don't, swing for the next team yet. Is that appropriate to say to a 15-year-old when you're 25?
No.
Come on, where are my Erika splainers in the chat?
No.
I want to hear it. It's a time to be alive.
And she
everyone's
had
explaining Jeffrey Epstein and all his friends. Go ahead, go for it. I think it's fine. Go ahead. I want to hear it.
No.
There's so much that disturbs me about that. But again, when I first was going, everything is wrong here. That's my natural intuition. I didn't want to then extrapolate and jump to conclusions until I spoke with Jillian. On the off chance that maybe it is my personal senses, having learned everything about Erika's background, maybe my personal senses about Erika might be clouding my judgment. Maybe there was a perfectly reasonable explanation for that sort of relationship. Maybe she really is just such an amazing person by the time she's 25 years old.
No. I want to be a fish out in you.
Christian, no. She wants a 15-year-old to feel sexy or something. I also want to
it's
note
okay to say
that
you are pretty, girl.
15-year-old at this time,
you're a pretty young lady.
What we know based off of Jillian's tweets is that she doesn't have a father in her life. Okay, she tweeted this in June of 2014. I haven't seen my dad over 2 years.
Yep.
Okay, the reason why I want to point that out is because Charlie Kirk and I did a lot on the road discussing father absence and how these teenagers and children are instantly more vulnerable to tons of things, getting involved in the wrong networks, criminal activity. You need a father in the home. So I just find it interesting that it's a good fact to know about this girl at this time. Maybe her father's in her life since, I don't know. I didn't ask her. But I told you I called her. I instantly reached out because sometimes I just can't follow instructions the right way. And I asked her about how she felt about it, 10 years removed from a situation. And she responded exactly how you might expect. She said at the time, as a 15-year-old, she was blown away by this amazingly beautiful, older, semi-famous person that was giving her all of this attention. And for clarity, I am completely empathetic to that position and experience as a younger girl, obviously. I correlated to how I felt. I think I've told you guys in the past about Christina Aguilera when she first dropped. And then I was obsessed with her when I was 13, 14 years old. My mom put me on punishment because I was so obsessed with Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera, at that point in my life, maybe if my mom had not punished me for idolatry, but at that point in my life, I'm racing home to watch TRL because I got to make sure she's number one. If Christina Aguilera had then given me tons of attention, I'd be like, oh, I can't even believe this. Christina Aguilera is giving me attention. She probably could have manipulated me into a lot of things because my brain would not have been developed. This is normal tween to early teen emotions and passion. And it's precisely, if you track my work, what has always been my biggest gripe with Taylor Swift, even though I like her music, it's because I find that she harnesses the power of that tween emotion to get business deals done. Yet she's 36. Anyway, I digress. That's the point of that. We know that they're reactive, they're emotional, and her fans will kill somebody if they have to, right? But hindsight is 20/20, as we always say, and Jillian today is now 27 years old, and she fully appreciates how absolutely weird this was and how absolutely weird it is. And she's going back and she is wondering, what exactly was this all about? What exactly was Erika harnessing her teenage emotion for? Why is she continually telling her that she's beautiful, that she has perfect lips? Why is this 25-year-old who's not even
Now
from
I'm curious
Michigan
about the fight.
interested in this
That's why I
dialogue with her? Something
said,
she points out is,
who did
I
Charlie
was with my
catch her
friend
with, a
when I met
man
her,
or a
but she never
woman?
had this relationship with Cheyenne. Cheyenne is mentioned elsewhere in that video. Why was it particularly Jillian that she was interested in? And curiously, get this, she tells me that she and Erika actually never hung out in person beyond that first meeting. So this was purely meant to be a platonic relationship
Oh, well, that's good.
where
Predators groom
Erika said
vulnerable children.
stuff even like
Yep.
this to her on Instagram.
This is how you can uncover all the secrets of your family that no one ever told you.
There is a platform where you can search
Jillian, that dime piece beside the car, though, she's referring to Jillian, just so we're clear, she's referring to Jillian beside a car as a dime piece. Again, if this was two 15-year-olds speaking to each other, I'd be like, that's totally fine. I actually tend to agree with Nice's assessment elsewhere in the video. Just put in your mind this is a 25-year-old man referring to a 15-year-old girl. What would happen?
Dime piece. Why would you be having that
What would you be
conversation?
And again, Erika did not actually hang out with her beyond that, so what exactly was her stated goal? Well, I can at least tell you what that last weird text exchange was about, the one where Erika tells her not to drink and to suck her stomach in tonight.
Oh, she was referring her. She was going to take her to a modeling thing.
Together, but no, that exchange is actually in reference to Erika then having sent this 15-year-old to have photos taken.
Oh, wow.
Insane. She sent this 15-year-old to have photos taken. She's helping her, because she's just so beautiful, get into maybe some modeling. That's at least how she presented it to her.
Ghislaine Maxwell was a talent search model.
She then sets her up with a photographer, a friend of Erika's. Erika, she says, arranged the entire thing. This person she had only met once, then after maybe love bombing her, we describe it, then sends her to meet up with this male photographer. And Jillian said that this photographer was kind of creepy. She's trying to remember his name. She says she remembers it began with an R, and he was kind of shorter, chubbier. And yeah, I'd say, yeah, Jillian, that's pretty creepy. Any photographer who is taking photos of a 15-year-old without their parents' consent is a creep. Find me this. I am looking to find and discover who this person was. And I would also similarly say that any person who is arranging for photographs to be taken of a 15-year-old girl without explicit permission from that person's mother is a total creep. So Erika, having done this, is completely and utterly creepy. It's creepy. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I will not allow people to say that it makes sense in some contexts. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I asked, did she speak to your mother? She said, no, she never spoke to my mother. This was happening on the phone. Her mom's probably thinking she's just on Instagram, speaking to whoever, and she's not even considering that this is happening. So what does all of this sound like?
Grooming
it sounds
and
to
modeling.
me like every parent's worst nightmare. Your kid has a phone, they get social media accounts, they're making friends over the internet, and the next thing you know, you find out that there's a man at night, if Erika's message is to be believed, who's taking photos of them. So I'll ask the question, the obvious question here. How much smoke before we are allowed to confirm that it seems there may be a fire? Because everything in Erika Kirk's story, which we will more thoroughly present to you in the weeks to come, has proximity to child trafficking scandals and proximity to charities and involvement with charities that had trafficking scandals and abuse scandals. Sometimes literal proximity, by the way. Like, I think I've mentioned this, Turning Point USA's headquarters, incredibly, maybe I haven't mentioned it, they're almost directly across the street from the #1 human and child sex trafficking location in Arizona, a place called Arizona Mills. If you're in Arizona, everyone goes, oh yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, everybody knows about Arizona Mills. Who picked this location for a student activist organization?
Did you hit the like button?
Who's the real estate agent on that deal? I feel like when a good real estate agent comes around, you're like, oh, is this a good spot? And they say, you know what, you don't want to be close to Arizona Mills. It's not a great spot for a student activist organization. Was Erika the real estate agent? And actually, I do know who handpicked it. I was around for that. It was Tyler Boyer. He's like a proud 5th generation, I think he says, Arizonan. He grew up in its backyard. right, Chandler, Gilbert area. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that he was familiar with the reputation of Arizona Mills. Tracy Martin, Erica's best friend, she's also has been involved in charity work for trafficking victims via Dream City Church, which we mentioned to you. And that actually makes sense because Dream City Church runs Phoenix Dream Center. Phoenix Dream Center, according to their website, is a center that provides residential rehabilitation, shelter, and care for victims of human trafficking. Wow, everyone is so amazing. So amazing. They just can't get enough of trying to help these trafficking victims. It says that they provide affordable housing for men and women that are in transition after having been trafficked. They give them food, they give them clothing. Nothing to see there because it's a charity. You can't question a charity. Turning Point USA is a charity. You can't question a charity. Stacey Sheridan, who has been playing the role of Erika Kirk's mother, we recently discovered worked under Jeffrey Epstein's friend, Kenneth Starr, at Pepperdine University. By the way, I can't find a trace of her actually at Pepperdine University, aside from her resume where she says she worked there for 8 years, but in Kenneth Starr's office. But the point is that for almost a decade, she worked for Ken Starr at the exact same time that he was working with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay.
Honey, why is the speaker on, but there's absolutely no
y'all
sound
know
coming
that-
out?
That's the magic.
Hold on.
It's
Do y'all know that Pam Bundy I'm gonna leave this right here for a minute while y'all get the likes. Hit those 3 dots. She's a nationality is this Israeli? Is she America first? U.S. first? Social media makes it so easy. It gets to get targeted. No matter how much you keep your eye on them. Yeah. Y'all see this? I got 4 minutes left on my goal. No, come on, y'all, help me reach my goal. Hit the like button. Double tap the face of your phone or hit those 3 dots at the top right. Come on and hit the like button. The T is hard.
But Stacey Sheridan is not Erica's real mom. Lori is Erica's real mother. We had mentioned to you this desert spirit tech company that she was running, Lori was running on a Native American reservation. And boy, were we hit with a lot of emails about, you guessed it, high instances of children and girls being trafficked off of that specific reservation where the office is not located because somebody went and they said this address does not exist. But all of that, by the way, we'll get into in the weeks to come. In the short term, we can confirm that this just must be all one unfortunate coincidence, right? All of it. You are a monster, by the way, for even noticing this. For even noticing this theme. You are a monster for wondering if Charlie also began to notice this theme in the end, because what exactly happened the night before he died? Why was Erika being so weird about providing a sensible alibi for her whereabouts on September 8th? Why did nobody see her when somebody else believes they did see her at Fort Huachuca? Speaking of September 8th, by the way, it's also an important date to flag.
No
I
more
think it's a little
dual
weird, but
citizenship.
it's a fact that Erika chose that date in particular to break her years-long Twitter silence. Did you know this? Erika had not authored a tweet since 2023. Right? She had retweeted a couple of things. Who knows if somebody did it for her? But she herself had not authored a tweet. Suddenly, 48 hours before Charlie's death, on September 8th at 10:49 a.m. Arizona time, she decides to break that silence with this tweet, scripture, Ephesians 2:8. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. Okay? And suddenly she then was on a roll. She then tweeted again on September 9th.
That's the one I've been telling y'all about.
9:44 a.m. local
Ephesians.
time. She tweeted, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that takes refuge in him." And then again, on the day that Charlie is assassinated at 9:45 a.m. Arizona time, which is an hour and a half, right? An hour and a half before he's killed, Erika tweets, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." People ran like, wow, I can't believe this. This godly woman happened to have tweeted this. Like I said, you're a monster for noticing. If you're thinking that like, no, she just really did suddenly want to break her Twitter silence.
Absolutely,
and
Bobby.
She's very, as we can see, she is committed to the Lord. Every sentence that comes out is about God. So how could you question it, right? Anyway, before we go off air for next week, I want to be thorough and again put out an APB for certain information. So a couple of things before we get into what we're looking for at more tips at CandaceOwens.com. The reason Jillian is speaking to me is because she's asking people to stop messaging her. She doesn't want all these people messaging her. She's like, I'm already in communication with you. We're trying to figure things out. We're trying to figure out who this photographer was that took photographs of her. We're on it. We're on the case, so you guys no longer have to slide in her DMs or hunt her down. I am fully on this, and we'll have more information for you, I suspect, in the coming week. And now, pertaining to what we're looking for, please email more tips at CandaceOwens.com. Again, guys, we're a very small team, so I appreciate the emails about, have you seen this? Have you watched that? I would just, please don't send those. Like, just tag us on TikTok, tag us in something that you want us to see. Do not clutter our inbox with please watch this or random things. We really want to use this to get information or answers to questions that we're asking on this show. And here are the questions that we are still looking for answers to. 1, who was it that Erika knew that was at the Batman, Colorado mass shooting? That theater, remember, that happened when the Batman movie came out in Colorado. Erika tweeted and said that she knew somebody that was in that theater.
And she was there.
Does anybody know who that is? Has anybody heard any more? Is there an interview out there where she discusses that further? I would like to know more about that information. Secondly, does anybody know or remember Erika Franzwey from Ohio? In doing her biography, it's almost as though she suddenly just appears in her high school years in Arizona. The backstory is that she's from Ohio until she gets into high school. Who attended middle school with Erika in Ohio? If that's you, we want to hear from you. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. Did you attend elementary school with Erika? If that's you, we would like to hear from you. You guys in Cincinnati, Ohio, please check your yearbooks. Maybe you didn't know that it was her because it's a long time ago. Please email us. Also, does anybody remember her at Loyola Marymount? This is also the same school that Stacey Sheridan went to, and people who went in that same year as her say, I don't remember her. We have not had a single person that has come out and said that they remember her, despite the fact that she is mentioned in a program. I'm looking for somebody who says, yeah, I took a class with her. She was a full adult by then. You would remember this. Oh, I went out with her for something. I don't know. If you attended school with her at Loyola Marymount, we would like to hear from you. And again, we will ask for more information just to dot our I's and to cross our T's, even though I think we have the information we need. If you have any information pertaining to Erika Kirk's whereabouts on September 8th, when she broke her Twitter silence, the 9th, or on the 10th, when Charlie was assassinated, because the story goes, Turning Point employees were told that she got the news when she was with her mom, and then she drove herself back home. Thus far, nobody where they live remembers seeing Erika, but she apparently met Stacey Sheridan and a couple other people, and then they went to the airport together. So it's a pretty big assassination. The entire world would have been looking out for her in that moment, especially people who knew who Charlie Kirk was. These neighbors said they knew him, they knew his wife, they knew his kids. And thus far, nobody remembers seeing Erika Kirk on the 10th. Maybe you work at the airport and you saw her board. That would make sense. Yes, I happened to work at the terminal, and I saw them all run in looking frantic in Scottsdale. I would like to try to confirm that story on September 10th. Anyway, We
Y'all need to
will
check and see
pause
how many
there,
bodies
and
she
we
got.
will be right back after the break.
We need her real body count.
Experience Japan on a journey customized to you. Explore future.
All right, you guys, Nimi Skincare is the only skincare brand that I have debt because whether you're struggling. Okay, you guys. So for another item that we can toss into the Candace Owens was right jar, but they were saying I was crazy. I tell you, I'm very quick at puzzles. I don't have a ton of strengths in other areas. Probably, I would say geography is not my greatest strength, but putting together puzzles and recognizing anomalies I've always been very good at. And I right away said that way too many dudes are wearing maroon shirts, and common sense if you're going to organize any military operation, which I believe September 10th was obviously a military operation, to those of us who are sensible, you're going to need to know who your guys are. So yeah, you're going to have certain people wearing certain colors, certain hats, and they were like, this is crazy. No, this many men really like maroon. And I was like, I feel like there's a color of the day here, and everyone who's wearing maroon is involved. Well, guess what? The Epstein docs dropped, and there was a mention of military colors of the day. A TikToker went viral discussing it. Take a listen.
If you don't know, during the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was a significant number of young men wearing maroon shirts. Originally, Candace Owens was the first person to point this out, and everybody called her crazy. However, I found proof that she was right. So after she made this claim, a lot of people called her crazy, but then there was also a good amount of people from the military that were saying that's absolutely a thing that the military does during secret operations in public areas. They choose a color of the day. So I started thinking, right? I was like, what if I searched in the DOJ files the term color of the day? And what do you know? I find 40 results of different FBI briefings talking about a color of the day. And every single one is unredacted. You can see what the color of the day was for that day for whatever military operation was going on. Now, most of the details for the military operation is redacted. However, on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, the morning of, before his death, they established a color of the day for a sit rep, which is just a military situation report. And the color of the day is redacted. Out of 40 different files mentioning a color of the day for secret operations, the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination is the only one that has a color of the day redacted.
Like I said, I'm just out here doing common sense. I noticed also, by the way, it wasn't just maroon. I felt like they were organizing by battalion. Some people were all like wearing white hats. Some people were wearing their socks in a certain way where I was like, never seen this many people wear their socks this high before. And I'm a person who likes to organize her pantry. My pantry in my kitchen is a high point for me. Every day I go in there, it's so organized. I organize my seasonings, okay? I had to buy a label, like a label maker, so I could organize my seasonings. Okay, for those of us who are that in the weeds on organization, thinking about how you might organize a military operation, that seemed pretty obvious. I just recognize organization, even when it's supposed to look like chaos, it's gotta be organized. And that's what was going down on that day. And I have a folder of I like call them like the white hats, so this and that was happening on that day. Very obvious. Now, who knows? He said he's going through the DOJ files. Who knows if that particular reference was pertaining, it could be pertaining to any number of military operations on the 10th, and they could be covering it because there was maybe another FBI operation and military operation that was taking place, I don't know, in Canada or overseas, whatever it is, and people might notice that a lot of people wore green, and so maybe that's the reason they're blacking it out. I don't know. What I do know is maroon, the Maroon Boys, were somehow involved. That seemed pretty obvious to me, that there was some coordination happening. Also, they were all alone, which was weird. Like, also, whoever wore maroon wanted to go to this event alone. They had no homies with them. So,
no homies.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. After yesterday's episode regarding Photogate, Turning Point issued a statement about how the wedding photo, which was curiously there when Charlie was hosting his last show and then was suddenly removed when Erika was speaking to Glenn Beck in December. They obviously were, they're always panicked, and then they issue a dumb statement. That's kind of their move. They never take a deep breath and think about whether what they're going to say makes any sense. And the issue was Erika was like, this is my first time that she's on Glenn Beck. The exact sentence I think she says is, I I haven't been here in forever. Sorry if I keep looking down. This is a note that he wrote. Okay, how long is forever? It sounds like it's been a long time since you've been in this particular office, and you obviously have not even seen this desk. Anyway, to account for the now missing photo, they went to Newsweek. I think the editor at large is Josh Hammer. They just can't help themselves. They just want to look guilty in everything that they do.
If you hate tomatoes, kale, or literally anything else,
Yeah, I need for
Hungerloo
y'all
is for
to
you.
hit the
Meal kit
like
services
button.
are supposed to
Double tap the 3 dots in the corner right, the upper corner. Oh my God. Oh wow. Y'all please double tap and hit the like button.
This is what they told. This is what they told Newsweek. A post has gone viral online that appeared to show Erika Kirk having moved or removed a photograph of her and Charlie Kirk at their wedding. Well, Turning Point USA spokesperson told Newsweek Erika moved it to a lower shelf when her daughter asked to see it so that she could hold and look at the photo. It's still on the studio shelf. It's just lower down where her daughter can look at it whenever she's in there with her mom. Aww. There's just always so much obvious emotional manipulation.
They always
I don't
have
know how
an
you guys
answer.
feel,
I mean,
but I feel like they should have went with the Andrew Colvett went rogue excuse. I think it's stronger. I like that. It's my favorite one. I said to go with Andrew Colvett went rogue. I love him being rogue. It's more believable. It certainly is more believable that Andrew Colvett went rogue. Because I'm feeling now like I gotta start like justice for Gigi. They keep dragging this poor toddler into every possible alibi regarding Erika Kirk. And I'm just not going to stand for this much longer, okay? We're out here treating Gigi like Puerto Rican moms treat their daughters. Okay, Latinos, you know what I'm talking about. Their sons can do no wrong. Mi rey. The daughters, they do a lot of wrong. That's how I'm feeling like Gigi's getting some treatment here that I'm not cool with. She's always in the alibi. Remember, Gigi kicked Charlie out of the bed the night before because she was doing gymnastics. Gigi wanted to move that photo to eye level, so they had to move it. Gigi wanted to go for a walk, so Erika couldn't have been at some fort in Huachuca because she was with Gigi. Leave Gigi alone. Gigi. Obviously, that did not happen because it makes no sense to bring a photo to ground level in a studio that is not occupied by the toddler. Is this her first time seeing the photo? If she wanted the photo, if she was like, I want to hug the photo, you would just give it to her. You would just allow her to take it. This is your home studio. You would say, yeah, take it out of the office because it's no longer serving us. It's not in the background. Take it out of the office and put it in your room. You can have it. It's not serving
I'm going
anyone.
on an hour and
It's
52
supposed to be
minutes.
designed.
Come on, y'all. Help me reach these goals. Thank you, Specs.
That's a photo of my granddad. Why would, if Lulu, who is 3, came in here and was like, I want that photo, why would I be like, okay, puts it on the floor where my daughter should not be because it's a studio. This is not a playroom. Stop. Please just stop. I want Turning Point USA to, for once in their lives, do the right thing and pay me a monthly retainer to consult them on PR. Just say no. Nope. No. Nope. Because I would have said to them, I said, look, here's what you're going to do. Blame the housekeepers. Blame the unknown housekeepers. You're rich. You've got money. A lot of money. We're talking billions from Pierre type money. Just blame the housekeeper, Erika. What? We didn't even notice that. We just had someone in to clean. I am going to fire the housekeeper.
She said just blame the Erika is corrupt.
Nobody
You
pays
right,
me.
Grateful.
Nobody pays me the big bucks.
It's just,
and even though
ain't
they
no
are
way
lying about
around it.
Gigi, we can now debunk my earlier suspicion that Charlie himself moved the photo because he did not. It is likely that he could not have moved the photo himself. And the reason that they're lying is because they want to protect a person that is truly amazing. A person who is so terrific, who is so spectacular, that we dare not even say his name without an adjective. He is he who must not be named without an adjective. You know who I'm referring to. Because oddly, despite the fact that this is Charlie's home studio, in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination, before Erika got in there, Mikey began doing media hits from it.
Grooming.
What's he doing at the house? Nobody knows. What does he do for Charlie? Nobody knows. How did he become chief of staff? Nobody knows. So, well, yeah, anyway, one of our mommy sleuths did find Mikey McCoy, the amazing, the marvelous Mikey, on November 8th, giving an interview to Real America's Voice. And you can see in the corner, there is no photo, okay? There's no photo, so it was already moved. So if Erika was really seeing the notes on his desk for the first time in December, because she hadn't been in the office in quote-unquote forever, as she told Glenn Beck, the marvelous McCoy could not relate. He's been there. He's been sitting at Charlie's desk. But then on top of that, and here's where we get to debunk the idea that Charlie moved the photo, they were hard launching Mikey. Remember, I told you that. Mikey was like slated to take over for Charlie. And they were doing it very hard and very quickly after Charlie's assassination. So hard and so quickly that another sleuth found him on September 22nd, seated in Charlie's chair at home. Now, this is just 11 days after Charlie's assassination. And it also happens to be the same date that Erika was on that Zoom call telling the employees to button it up, get back to work. There's merch sales, there's hat sales. It's what Charlie would want. Charlie is dancing in heaven, but only if you're at work, working hard. You better work. If you want Charlie to dance in heaven, when she was given that whole sermon on that exact day, Mikey, the amazing, shared a similar message with Martha McCallum on Fox News. And you can see, just at the end of that, this little screenshot, that Mikey, you see the photos in the background. So I think Mikey got ahead of himself. Mikey the amazing. Mikey the marvelous got a little ahead of himself, and it was like messing up his vibe, and he moved it. That's probably. Mikey, you see the photos in the background. So I think Mikey got ahead of himself. Mikey the amazing. Mikey the marvelous got a little ahead of himself, and it was like messing up his vibe, and he moved
Was
it.
the powder blue?
That's probably what happened. He's like, I can't really vibe. There are so many red flags in this story. We don't need to pursue ones that potentially are not. And yeah, he's like, I can't really vibe out with Charlie's. And he probably even put up his own of himself, and it was like messing up his vibe, and he moved it. That's probably what happened. He's at the end of that, this little screenshot, that Mikey, you see the photos in the background. So I think Mikey got ahead of himself. Mikey the amazing. Mikey the marvelous got a little ahead of himself, and it was like messing up his vibe, and he moved it.
Okay.
That's probably what happened. He's like, I can't really vibe out with Charlie's, and he probably even put up his own photo, and they said, nah, too hard, too aggressive, too soon. Anyway, we're only interested. There are so many red flags in this story. We don't need to pursue ones that potentially are not. And yeah, Mikey, I'm starting to like him, I think. I've been saying when you start using adjectives to describe someone, the psyop works. I don't let anybody say anything bad about Mikey, the amazing, Mikey the wonderful, Mikey the spectacular. I stand the amazing Mikey McCoy. The question now is whether or not they're going to keep gaslighting us and lying to us about Charlie and Erika. I still feel very strongly they had a fight on the 9th. And also I feel strongly that they probably will keep gaslighting us, at least if the Epstein file situation is any indication, because we have been so aggressively gaslit over the last 6 months that sometimes we forget how audacious and how absurd and how positively traumatizing the manner in which our government just routinely lies to us actually is. Regarding the Epstein files, we should probably be in the streets revolting. We're probably due for like a revolution or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad that Republicans are sharing Democratic tips. It's actually kind of bringing us together because I think we all just hate the elites so much. And the quote-unquote elites, really the occults and the ball worshippers. And I'm clearly not a Democrat. I'm actually not even a Republican. I retired from politics the day they took out Charlie Kirk and lied to us about it. But this Democratic representative, Jared Moskowitz, did a really good job recapping exactly what the Trump administration put us through with the Epstein files. Gaslighting his own supporters after insisting that day one, they were going to give us access, they were going to tell us the truth, they were going to be the most transparent administration ever, holding up the binders. Take it away, Jared Moskowitz.
It's been 12 months since you gave Republican influencers part one of the Epstein files. You said the list was on your desk. Then a memo came out and said that there was no list. Phase 2 of the binders never happened. The President of the United States says the Epstein thing is a hoax. He blasts his own base for wanting the release of the files. He blamed Barack Obama. Republicans voted against the release of the files in the Rules Committee. Then they refused to even return to the Rules Committee until they could be protected from future votes on the release. Speaker Johnson sends Congress home a day early before break.
Please hit the
They sent the
like button
Deputy
for me,
Attorney
please.
General to meet with Maxwell. She says something favorable about the president. Miraculously, she gets transferred to a minimum security facility. No one can explain why. Miraculously, the leaks to the Wall Street Journal stop. We come back from break. We have the Massey discharge petition. Republicans drop a rule, a non-binding resolution trying to kill the Massey discharge petition. The White House says passing the Massey discharge petition is a hostile act. Trying to stop the necessary 218 signatures, according to Republican members that signed it, the White House brought them into the Situation Room, you know, the place where the president goes for time of war, promising things like appropriations or maybe even to primary them. People in the room say you were there. It didn't work. We get the 218 signatures. We eventually passed the Massey petition. You guys didn't release the files. You were forced by Congress, every member of the House except one, and the entire Senate. The reason the president signed it is because it was a veto-proof majority. We can't agree on anything, and yet the entire House but one member and the whole Senate forced the administration to release the files. Kash Patel under oath said to Senator Kennedy, the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. We know now that's not true. According to documents, Epstein had a worldwide sex trafficking ring. Girls from Poland, Czechoslovakia, Russia, Paris, modeling agencies sending him girls. He even had a relationship with a summer camp where he groomed girls at a picnic table. Ghislaine Maxwell says 29 Epstein associates cut secret DOJ deals. Turns out there is a list. 6 names readily available if you unredact them. Co-conspirators named, but we got them when you unredact them. Maxwell recently tells a House Oversight Committee that she wants clemency to release more names. Kash Patel under oath said Trump's name appears less than 100 times in the files. We now know that's not true. Trump's name appears more times in the Epstein files than God's name appears in the book about God. Okay, by the way, this is the Trump Bible. Move over, King James. Trump's name also appears more times in the Epstein file than Harry Potter's name appears in the 7 books about Harry Potter. Lutnick says that in 2008, he went to Epstein's home, says he had a massage table in the living room. But Epstein said he got one every day, that it was the right type of massage. He and his wife decide to leave and say they'll never be in a room with him again. Howard then says, I'm sure the Epstein stuff is all on video. He was the greatest blackmailer of all time. Well, how would Howard know that? But now the files are public, and in 2012, we found out that he and his family are on Epstein Island after Epstein pled guilty to state charges. I'm from Florida. I take my family to Disney World, not to Epstein Island. There are documents in the files that dispute the president's claim that he kicked Epstein out of his club. Allegedly, the president said that he asked Epstein to leave. Supported now, that's disputed though, statements from the manager of the club. Now, Madam Attorney General, I have like 25 seconds left. So because I'm curious, and I'd like to see you flip to the Jared Moskowitz section of the binder. I'm interested to see what staff provided on the oppo on me, and because we're in the Olympics, I'm going to give it a grade. I just want to see how good it is. So give me your best one.
So first of all, nothing is funny about mocking the Bible and holding up a Trump Bible. That's what you did. You made a joke, and I find offense to that. That's all I have to say.
I want it from the burn book.
Shame.
I want it from the burn book, which is the best one. What you got?
That's all she had to say to him. Shame. Shame. Shame on you for telling the truth about what we have put the public through, what we have put our supporters through, people that believed in us, who wanted to get to the answers, who, they took us to this line because we wanted to see how power works. Instead, we're protecting people that are in the files. Howard Lutnick's practically running Trump's administration. Bibi Netanyahu, Howard Lutnick's all over the world with Jared Kushner. He's just been protecting his homies, and she's got shame on you because you didn't. He did not mock the Bible in any way. That's what she's got. Yeah, she's got a little bit more too, by the way, because I guess she thought this was going to work. And I actually appreciate this response, this next response from Pam Bondi, her perspective on it, because I think it's honest. I appreciate it because it's honest. Take a listen.
They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's
You think
history.
that's honest?
And none of them,
Yeah, you
none
still a
of
Trump
them
fan.
asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over 50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
It's simply amazing. It's as amazing as Mikey McCoy, right? She's just out there like, what? Let them have cake. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Okay. We're guilty. Guilty as charged. Yeah, Epstein's trafficking. It's a whole network. Everyone at the top is kind of a monster. Yeah, they've been trafficking children, harming children. There's all this Baal worship. We're referring to you guys as Goyim and increasing your taxes, making things more dangerous, stealing from you effectively. Money has gone missing. But have you checked your 401ks? Guys, gas is down 10 cents a gallon. Why do you care if we're harming children on islands? Why do you care so much? Are you good? That's all we should be talking about here. Gas. No, you can get petrol now. And it's like, 10 cents cheaper than it was during the Obama era. What's wrong with you guys? How much more do you need to be distracted so that we can go on worshiping Satan? I just don't understand. Please, let's talk about the Dow. Incredible. That's where we're at right now, guys. Up is down, down is up. Like I said, we are pretty much due for a revolution. I guess the empire.
Yeah, it's finna be midnight. I'm gonna have to set another one and come back in about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I'll be back